Good morning, good morning, good morning, beautiful creatures of the internet. I'm Mingo Jones. Um, as always, in my description, there are resource hubs for LGBTQIA plus individuals and their families. There are reproductive health resources also available in the description. There are links to the other Stream Pervs channels in the description as well. Um, so, White Boy Rumble Rants is on a forced 2 week hiatus due to a community guideline strike for medical misinformation about COVID. And that's fine. That's all good. Whatever. I'll take the community guideline strike. I'll take the hiatus. Um, as to whether or not White Boy Rumble Rants will come back after that hiatus, I am unsure. I recently had something kind of fucked up happen in my real life that I'm not ready to talk about it yet. I am not ready to address it at this time. I'm going to take this time for me. Um, I'm not sure how often I will stream. I am not sure how often I will be on other people's stream. If you have messaged me on Discord, there is a very strong chance that I have not read it or anything. And yeah, that's where I'm at. Um, and I'm sorry that I haven't gotten back to anyone or anything, and I haven't been doing anything, but I need to take this time to focus on myself and my son and work with my therapist to make sure that I am mentally where I need to be, and that's okay. Um, so we're gonna look at Admiral Sixkiller today because Lizard was kind enough to send me this post, and it's a doozy. It really is. It's a mess. It is an absolute mess of a post. So I'm going to read this, and then we are going to break it down bit by bit because it's wow. Okay. This is why the satanic cult is stupid and just a way to bully people of faith. The statue of Baphomet is a bronze sculpture commissioned by the Satanic Temple depicting Baphomet, a winged, goat headed humanoid symbol of the occult. First unveiled in Detroit in 2015, the statue stands 8.5 feet, 2.6 meters tall, and features a prominent pentagram as well as two smiling youths gazing up at the seated central figure. Petitions to display the piece on public grounds have resulted in arguments concerning the separation of church and state. Now pay attention to what you are about to learn. Ugh. The Satanic Temple began an Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign in 2014 to create a satanic monument depicting Baphomet and two children with the intention to display this monument at the Oklahoma State Capitol. The group's fundraising efforts aimed at erecting the statue in response to the Ten Commandments monument installed by Oklahoma State Representative Mike Ritz in 2012. Baphomet is a deity allegedly worshipped by the Knights Templar by accusation that subsequently became incorporated into various occult and mystical traditions. The name Baphomet appeared in trial transcripts for the Inquisition of the Knights Templar starting in 1307. It first came into popular English usage in the 19th century during debate and speculation on the reasons for the suppression of the Templars. The name Baphomet appeared in July 1098 in a letter about the siege of Antioch by the crusader Anselm of Redmont. Yeah. Raymond of Aguilers, a chronicler of the First Crusade, reports that the troubadours used the term Baphomet for Muhammad and Baphomeria for a mosque. The name Baphomets later appeared around 1195 in Occitan. I'm gonna butcher this shit. Octon poems. Around 1250, a poem bewailing the defeat of the Seventh Crusade again uses Baphomet for Muhammad. Yeah. I'm not going to try and read the names of the poems because, well, that's, I'm going to fuck it up really bad. So, excuse me. So, a name of this supposed being originated in poem, a fictional term used to slander it and dismantle or cause great mistrust. Now, where have we heard that before? Homophobe? Using the term Baphomet to belittle or cause mistrust in someone or something is the same as casually labeling them a phobia that doesn't really exist in clinical phobias. In fact, the definition of homophobia doesn't grammatically align with the construct of the word that includes phobia, which is defined as a dislike instead of the rest of the real clinical phobias that are defined grammatically as a fear. So, this image that shows an abomination of man mixed with beast, bearing a girdle of the pharma symbol, and influencing children was interpreted in an era that used its descriptiveness and appearance to slander someone they disagreed with. But now, just like the LGBT, it is being made a normality and living up to its true nature, deception. Satanic cult members are being fed nonsense that not only opposes the standards of God and tries to undo his wisdom, but also creates a hate stigma for anyone in opposition by labeling people with a fabricated stereotype. Just like the origin of Baphomet, a fabricated stereotype. So Baphomet, the fictional figure of poetry, is just an idol of condemnation and deception. And it's being used now for the same reason, but in a slightly different way that includes a cult mentality of closed-mindedness and delusion. So if you tell one of them that their deity is poetic fiction, be prepared for their rhetoric that defines God the same way, which also indicates that it is a high possibility that the satanic cult is just a bunch of narcissists that hate religion and God. So they make one up to be the contender, because of course most atheists believe God was made up. Circular reasoning. Now, there's a lot wrong with this one. Okay, first of all, it's not really a satanic cult. Satanic cult sounds a lot like Satanic Panic stuff, and you can learn a lot about it from Miss Parker's stream on it, and I will put a link to that in the description because it's important that we all know where the Satanic Panic came from. And Satanists are not the people that Admiral Sixkiller seems to think they are. Really not. But we'll get into that. Okay. First things first. He mentions the entire thing about the Knights Templar. Okay. Now, actually, he completely just like copy pasted a whole bunch of this from Wikipedia. So good for him. He can copy and paste. So proud. But what he didn't go into was the fact that scholars, like actual people that have researched this, actual people that know these things, people that have made their life's work learning about the Templars, they all agree that when the word Baphomet was used, it was actually an Old French corruption of the name Mohammed, which is Muhammad. It's a translation that got lost. It's a translation that got corrupted, which happens when you are working with multiple languages. Things will get lost in translation. Things will get messed up. And then you also have to look at the fact that the Knights Templar, they were charged with a bunch of different crimes. Over 100 different charges, actually, including heresy, homosexual relations, spitting and urinating on the cross, sodomy. They're the same types of charges that were levied against King Philip's enemies. And when you look at what the Templars went through, what they actually had to go through before they were even tried. They were tortured. They were completely fucking tortured. And in that torture, some of the knights kept their mouths shut. They said nothing of Baphomet. They did not do anything. While others admitted to Baphomet's existence, citing that, some of them citing that it was a severed head, some of them saying it was a goat's head, some said it was a cat's head, a shape-shifting head. But these were all confessions done under torture. So they have no actual bearing. There is not necessarily any truth behind it because, well, they were fucking tortured. You can get someone to say just about anything when you actually torture them. Just saying. And Baphomet was not something that was put into popular English, as he stated. Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Widow Son. The charges were definitely totally false. Baphomet was not something that was put into regular English usage. When it comes to Baphomet, it was used in those poems, yes. It was used in the trials for the Knights Templar, yes. But after that, we did not see a recurrence of Baphomet until the 1800s. You can't say that it was put into popular English usage when it was not used. It was used as a false translation for an old French word, and then it disappeared. It's amazing how that works, right? So, the current image of Baphomet, the one that he is speaking of, the one that he very crudely described, it's not an abomination of man mixed with beast. It's not bearing a girdle of the pharma symbol and influencing children. It's not doing that. The current image of Baphomet, the one that is used as a symbol, was actually created in 1856 by Eliphas Levi. And Baphomet is depicted as having binary elements representing the symbolization of the equilibrium of opposites, half human, half animal, male, female, good, evil. The intention was to symbolize his concept of balance that was essential to a perfect social order. The entire image of Baphomet is not meant to be anything terrifying. It is not meant to bring distrust. It is not to do anything of that nature. It is simply a balance. And using it as a means to try and say that people are, evil, and it's an abomination, and it's influencing children in a negative way is just completely fucking false. It is. In fact, the Satanic Temple holds to the basic premise that undue suffering is bad and that which reduces suffering is good. The thing that Christianity tries to sell itself as, that's what the Satanic Temple actually does. Yeah, kind of a thing. So, Admiral Sixkiller decided to take what he learned on Wikipedia without actually researching further and use it to make a false comparison to the word homophobe. Since he wants to get clinical with the homophobe thing, we're gonna learn the clinical definition of a phobia, which comes from Johns Hopkins. Like, it comes from an actual medical source. So, a phobia is an uncontrollable, irrational, and lasting fear of a certain object, situation, or activity. This fear can be so overwhelming that a person may go to great lengths to avoid the source of this fear. One response can be panic attack. You can run away, you can throw things, you can just be all around a dick about it because you're afraid of it. It happens, And yes, grammatically, homophobia does not fit most definitions of phobia. But at the same time, when you historically look at what homophobia is, what homophobia was, what homophobia has been, you see things like Oscar Wilde, of all people, in 1895, getting charged with gross indecency stemming from his penchant for aesthetic art and beauty, as well as his feminine aesthetic appearance. It helped promote the stereotype that homosexuality existed among feminine men and disqualified masculine men from being seen as homosexual. And then you look at people like, Sigmund Freud, who in 1905 pushed the notion that homosexuality was the product of a child's upbringing. To quote, "The presence of both parents plays an important part. The absence of a strong father in childhood not infrequently favors the occurrence of inversion." This dude even gave tips to help parents lead their children to heterosexual adjustments. Homosocial organizations like the Boy Scouts, sporting clubs, were created to introduce boys to heteromasculine role models in the absence of their fathers as a direct result of what Freud was teaching people and industrialization. Like, you also look at the fact that homosexuals have been killed by homophobes simply for existing. You've got parents kicking their homosexual children out of their homes. You've got people just going completely all out to destroy, hide, be away from homosexual people. So does that not fit the clinical definition of a phobia? Because you're going to great lengths to avoid the source, which would be homosexuals, of the fear being near, around, associated with the fear of being turned gay, which is not a thing, by the way. Like, I think that fits. Yeah, that fits pretty well, actually. So, completely wrong there. Satanic cult members aren't really a thing. I will say that again. Baphomet is not poetic fiction. Baphomet is not anything like that. Baphomet was created as a symbol of balance and peace. So this entire last bit is just fucking stupid. Like, it means nothing because it is not a fabricated stereotype. It is not a poetic fiction. It is not some weird deity that you seem to think it is, Admiral Sixkiller. It just is. Homophobia is. Homosexuals are. It's kind of works out really well, right? Now, this stream of consciousness is really just all over the place, my dude. It really is. Because, yes, the Satanic Temple did do an Indiegogo campaign in 2014. They did want to have Baphomet at the Oklahoma State Capitol because Mike Ritz privately funded a Ten Commandments statue to be put up in the state capitol. And it's absolute madness that he would do that, considering that there is a separation of church and state. The American Civil Liberties Union, they actually sued Oklahoma over the statue. But the Satanic Temple decided to fight fire with fire because, well, they are a religious organization. They are a recognized religious organization. So if the Ten Commandments can be displayed, so can Baphomet. That's how it works, right? It's only fair. And yes, it was unveiled in Detroit in 2015. The completed Baphomet. And there were over 700 people in attendance. It was deemed the largest satanic gathering in history. And it was actually a great time. Like, if you look up videos, pictures, anything from that event, you will find nothing but people coming together, seeing the statue, eating food, dancing, embracing each other. Just, yeah, there were some protesters, but that comes with the territory. You know what I mean? And it's kind of fucked that you would try and use a symbol like Baphomet to say that it's a way to bully people of faith. It's not. It's quite the opposite, actually. Hey, lizard. Hey, ape. Oh, really? Because I was reading it straight from Johns Hopkins Medical. Actually, I can. Uh-huh. There we go. Posted the link to that definition. Just saying. Anyway, I got sidetracked. Okay. Admiral Sixkiller, let's have a nice conversation here. Okay? Can we do that? Let's do that. You brought up the separation of church and state. How there's arguments concerning it and everything. So how about you pay attention to what you're about to learn? Because you see, with the separation of church and state, pretty much everyone in the Senate, everyone in certain courts have agreed that if a statue has been on public government grounds for so long and has historical context or meaning to the location, then it can stay. If it is a religious statue, it can stay because there is significance behind it. However, newer pieces that get put up, like, say, 10 Commandments in 2012 on Oklahoma capitals, those cannot stay. Those shouldn't have been put up. It shouldn't have been privately funded. It shouldn't have been a thing. So the Satanic Temple just wanting to put up this symbol of peace, the symbol of how a society should be, it shouldn't get you this twisted, my dude. Because it's only fair, right? You don't care about fair. You are a homophobe. It's very fucking obvious by your posts. Jesus fucking Christ. And No, Baphomet did not subsequently become incorporated into various occult and mystical traditions. Again, there was a huge 500-year fucking difference between when we first saw Baphomet and it disappeared, and then we saw it again. Like, you did nothing to make this post accurate in any way. You are absolutely just speaking from these feelings that you have because you don't understand. And it's okay to not understand stuff. It really is. But you should take the time to try, because you might find that, you know, Satanists aren't that bad. In fact, the vast majority of us are non-theistic. The Satanic Temple was founded on the premise of being a non-theistic religion. We don't worship Baphomet. It's just a symbol. That's it. No one's praying to Baphomet for something to happen at the Satanic Temple. We're all just doing our best and trying to be as good of people as we can. Trying to use a symbol of peace as something that it's not. It's kind of fucked. God wasn't a symbol of peace, but y'all use that all the time to try and instill fear and make people love him. It's kind of weird. Hey, Maggie doll, it's nice to see you. No, I forgot to say hello, Widow Son. Yeah, hi. But it's just, it's wild to me that someone can write such a post and have nothing going on. Hi, Spirit. Nice to see you. Are you at work? That fucking sucks. I work again on Thursday. I'm not looking forward to it, but that's when bereavement ends, so that works. Okay, that makes sense. I got you. But yeah, if anyone wants to learn about the Satanic Panic, which is where this entire ideal that Satanists are cultists comes from, then you should definitely check out Miss Parker's stream on it. And I'm putting the link in chat to it because it very well researched, very well done, absolutely brilliant stream. Loved it to pieces. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm like all over the place this morning. I'm having a time. I really am. Okay, so Baphomet is not deceptiveness. It's not used to slander someone that you disagree with. Because Admiral Sixkiller, had you just scrolled down a little on the Wikipedia page that you had copied and pasted from, you would have read that it was just a mistranslation of Muhammad. God damn, you're a fucking idiot. And see, you say that homophobe is a false word, but you say this, but now, just like the LGBT, oh my god, fucking here, stop it. It is being made a normality and living up to its true nature, deception. How How? How are LGBT individuals deceptive? How? Uh, I'm so confused about that. I'm also confused about labeling people with a fabricated stereotype. Just like the origin of Baphomet, a fabricated stereotype. That makes no sense, because Baphomet was not some fabricated stereotype. It was a mistranslation, and homophobia is not a fabricated stereotype. It very much is a real thing. It makes no fuck. Make it make sense. Someone please make it make sense. Because, I mean, Admiral Sixkiller is also the same dude that just this morning, or just yesterday, posted LGBTQIA2 stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, questioning, queer, intersex, pansexual, two spirits, 2S, androgynous, and asexual. Let's be honest, those are just your favorite porn tags. No. 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 It's LGBTQIA+. Okay? That's what it is. I have no clue why you put all this other stuff at the end of it. It's LGBTQIA+. That's it. That's Alphabet Mafia. It has nothing to do with porn tags, and it has everything to do with someone's orientation. And it's okay that there are so many different orientations. It's okay that there are so many people that see the world in a different way than you. Because you're fucking stupid. Let's be honest. You're a straight man that feels threatened, I guess, by people that are not straight. Although I'm assuming that you watch a lot of lesbian porn, right? Probably. You seem like the type. So, Admiral Sixkiller, man of faith, man of God. Why is the Satanic Temple doing more for people? Why is the Satanic Temple teaching better things than churches do? Why is it that a non-theistic religion can affect people in so many good ways? Is it possibly because we're not Satanists out of fear? We aren't in an abusive relationship with an imaginary dude that lives in a sky? Because that's what it feels like. I mean, you can go to the Satanic Temple website at any fucking point and see exactly what they're about. They're very forthcoming. You can go to any temple and you can meet so many lovely people. Actually, here, the mission of the Satanic Temple is to encourage benevolence and empathy, reject tyrannical authority, advocate practical common sense, oppose injustice, and undertake noble pursuits. Honestly, that sounds a lot better than what church is trying to teach. Like, they publicly confront hate groups. They fight for the abolition of corporal punishment in public schools. They apply for equal representation when religious installments are placed on public property. They provide religious exemption and legal protection against laws that restrict women's reproductive autonomy. They expose harmful pseudoscience in mental health care. They organize clubs along with other religious after school clubs in schools to make sure that everyone is represented. They are engaged in so many advocacy programs for people because it's what's right. It's what needs to be done. It's the way that it's supposed to be. Calling us cultists does nothing because we don't worship a dude. Actually, according to the definition of cult, most religions would follow a cult like behavior, but Satanism isn't one of them. Except for LaVey Satanism, but that's a different story. We don't talk about LaVey. Dude's a bitch. So please, Admiral Sixkiller, do me a favor. Just do everyone a favor. If you're going to talk about stuff, if you're going to be a dick, at least do your research first. Like, find something else about us that you don't like. Because we're not that bad. Really not. Like, if you're pro-life, just say you're pro-life and you don't like the fact that we support women getting the help that they need when they need it. Because that's honestly the one thing that would probably make sense. Yeah. Bereavement leave. There's a reason that I haven't been answering Discord messages or anything. But I went over that earlier. Admiral Sixkiller, you're the biggest dumb I have ever seen. You should always do your due diligence and research things before you speak on them. You should take the time to understand the people that you were talking about. You should understand that you most definitely are a homophobe, and it's obvious. Well, see, that's not necessarily true because you've got the Branch Davidians that are actually still going even after the whole Waco thing. And that's a cult. That's very much a cult. Which is just an offshoot of Seventh-day Adventists, I do believe. Hold on, wait, it's in my notes. Huh. Yep, Seventh-day Adventists. Very much a cult. Very much still going. Religious cult? Yes, because you can have just a regular cult, but you can also have religious cults as well. Look at Mormons, Seventh-day Adventists, the entire Quiverful movement is a religious cult. And then you've got regular cults that, do other things like the Sylvanians that were like a sex cult in Manhattan. I really want to do a deep dive on some of these cults. They're fascinating. And then you've also got, the People's Temple, which is just a regular cult. Yes, but it would still be like a religious cult, technically. Because, I mean, you've got religions, you've got cults, you've got religious cults. Like, there is a divide. So, that's all I wanted to do today was just talk about Admiral Sixkiller real quick. And then I'm honestly about to go back to bed. Because I'm tired. I did not sleep well last night or the night before. Life's been rough, y'all. But I will stream again at some point. I will be on someone's stream at some point, maybe. I'm still not answering messages. Please do not message me because I'm not going to read it, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm not ready to deal with people too much at the moment. I am not ready to I'm not ready to do all the things I was doing before. I'm slowly moving my way back in. I'm doing this stream, and I occasionally hop into a YouTube chat or something to find some semblance of normal. And it's going to take time. Thank you to everyone that decided to watch. I greatly appreciate it. I'm going back to bed. Night, y'all.